Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my classic USFL franchise with the New Orleans Breakers. We have now reached the end of the 2025 regular season, and our Breakers have faltered to a 7-10 record to end the year, which is pretty disappointing considering we made it to the conference championship last year. And we actually went 0-8 on the road this year and went 7-2 at home. The defense particularly was disappointing, as you can see here by our team rankings. We were 31st in the USFL in points given up per game on defense, giving up an average of 26 points a game. As far as passing yardage, we finished 27th, and rushing yards 22nd. So I think we're going to have to do some revamping, especially on the defense, but that's for another video. Breakers ending the year in a frustrating fashion, losing to Orlando. After coming back at the end of the game to take the lead, the Breakers give up a drive at the end of the game against the Renegades and ended up losing at home. So a pretty fitting end to the Breakers' regular season, losing that last game. So taking a look at the final standings across the league, the Oakland Invaders by far get the number one seed in the NFC by 4 games. They ended up 14-3. Breakers actually almost beat the Invaders in Oakland, losing by a couple of points there. But Oakland just having a tremendous season. They get the number one seed, winning their division by 4 games. The Oklahoma Outlaws did get into the playoffs with a 10-7 record from that division. Then in the NFC South, Birmingham kind of stumbled the last half of the season, but still wins a not so good NFC South division by 2 games. They end up at 9-8. The Chicago Blitz end up winning the NFC North. The Michigan Panthers were actually leading that division for much of the season, but the Panthers kind of stumbled towards the later half of the season. They still make the playoffs, but the Blitz end up winning that division, winning the tiebreaker over the Panthers. They both finished at 10-7. And then in the NFC East, in a similar scenario, San Antonio was leading that division much of the year, but the Washington Federals come back and finish strong and take over that division at 10-7 as well. So a lot of parity in the conference this year besides the very top. And so we'll see what happens there. But Oakland was just dominant much of the year. So over in the AFC, it was a much different story, as they had a lot less parity. In the AFC East, the Berlin Thunder stormed back and overtake that division over London. Berlin at one point was on a 13-game winning streak before losing the last game of the regular season in a meaningless game. But London faltered towards the end of the season, and so the defending champion Berlin Thunder end up AFC champions with a 13-4 record, and they also will have home field advantage throughout the playoffs, taking that number one seed. And AFC North, a close division much of the year, but the Ohio Glory come up on top with a 9-8 record. In the AFC South, Jacksonville wins that division. They end up with the second seed, finishing 11-6. You also have the Houston Gamblers making the playoffs as a wild card with a 9-8 record, overtaking the Renegades with the tiebreaker And then you have the Portland Prowlers. Not a surprise there, winning their division again, making the playoffs once again with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. They finish at 11-6. So taking a look at the playoff bracket, a couple of interesting storylines here in the NFC. You have a couple of games actually between division rivals. You have the Washington Federals against the San Antonio Gunslingers. The Federals beating the Gunslingers both times they played, which helped the Federals win that division. San Antonio gets an opportunity to get some revenge there in the 2-7 game. We also have the Blitz and the Panthers playing each other. Blitz beating the Panthers twice as well, helping them win that division. In that game, it's a battle between the two top defenses in the USFL in terms of points given up. So that would be an interesting matchup as well. Panthers looking to avenge a couple of losses there. And in the 4-5 matchup, you have Birmingham and Oklahoma. Birmingham, of course, stumbling towards the end of the year, but the Oklahoma Outlaws starting quarterback Joe Burrow is out with an injury for at least the next couple of weeks, and so they have Will Levis starting at quarterback. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Over in the AFC, you have the Bulls, the number 2 seed, playing against the Houston Gamblers. An interesting 3-6 matchup. You have Patrick Mahomes and the Portland Prowlers playing against Jaden Daniels and the Frankfurt Galaxy in a very intriguing 3-6 matchup. And then you have the 4-5 matchup. You have the Ohio Glory and the London Monarchs. As I mentioned earlier, the London Monarchs kind of stumbling towards the end of the season. Josh Allen has been struggling with turnovers the last several weeks. So it'll be interesting to see how they play on the road there in a tough game in Ohio. And with that, I'm going to end the video. Many of these games are going to be live streamed in a few days. I am going on vacation, so it's going to take a few days for me to start live streaming the games once again. But you can look forward to at least a couple of these wild card games being live streamed. And then once we get beyond the wild card round, every game will be streamed afterwards. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure and like and subscribe if you like this content. And I will see you again next time.